Cashmore was second. Sorry, we do have a quorum. Yes, we do. Okay. So we're going to come to, while we were waiting for Teresa, David. No questions? Okay, I'll put the motion on that. All those in favour? Aye. Okay, so it was Chloe Cashmore. Okay, what we'll do is, Phil, do you just want, I'm sorry, we're just going to have to go back to 12 and...
You're going into confidential after this, though?
Yeah, it's only confidential after this.
Look, I think in the interests of your time, we better start. I've texted and rung.
Yeah.
They must have just popped out to get a sandwich over the lunch break.
No, that's right.
If you want to, here we go.
I know, here we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Teresa, all yours.
Apologies.
And Carol. Carol, yes.
Apologies for lateness. Kia ora mai tātou, I'm Teresa Roigard and I'm the Head of Māori Strategy, Policy and Effectiveness. And today I'm going to provide you a brief overview of the second update in response to the 2017 Independent Assessment of Expenditure to deliver Māori outcomes. That was commissioned by the Independent Māori Statutory Board and undertaken by PricewaterhouseCoopers. The assessment identified 13 findings for improvement across the council group. We, council, responded to these findings and found that they could be grouped into 3 response areas: strategic alignment, allocation of budget and improvements to reporting, and transition of Te Tō Takitini. In our response, we estimated that it would take 18 months to make these changes, and also committed to providing 2 updates and a final report back to the Finance and Performance Committee meeting in December this year. The first update was presented to Finance and Committee in October 2018, and in that report provided an update on the strategic alignment. Today's update is the second and focuses on the budget allocation, reporting improvements and transition of Te Tō Takitini. This report should give the Finance and Performance Committee assurance that we are progressing in the right direction, and we've got improvements to date include a revised quarterly reporting template against the Māori strategic outcomes and priorities, improvements to how budgets are allocated, transition of Te Tō Takitini portfolio, and improved governance of Te Tō Takitini. So I'd like to reiterate that we feel we're on track and we are making progress, and we'll be in a position to outline our comprehensive report back to the Finance and Performance Committee by December this year. Kia ora.
Okay. Do you wish to comment more fulsomely about the performance measurement framework?
Yes, the performance measurement framework. Now that we have set the strategic direction, and that's been clearly set in the Auckland Plan and the 10-year budget, we're developing 1 to 2 measures for the top 4 strategic priority areas, and they will be completed by June, with the remaining by the end of September.
Oh. Councillor Darby. Oh, okay, sorry, her name popped up. Councillor Cashmore.
Hi, sorry for disturbing your lunch, it's not very fair. So, read the report, actually I read it through twice to get my head right around it. So what are the measurement criteria and peer reviewing to make sure we are actually starting to deliver these processes? Because we had a flat, we've increased delivery of Te Takitini, but this is taken to another level, another stage. How are we going to check that we're doing it correctly and at the right speed and thoroughly?
Thank you. Through the Chair, we have established one of the recommendations was establishing the governance, and we've set up an internal steering committee, a Māori Outcome Steering Committee, which is made up of senior staff members across council and council group, including members of the Independent Māori Statutory Board that actually help monitor and oversee projects through pipeline through to delivery. And we also have the executive leadership group.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Mayor Goff, sorry, and then Member Tup.
Thank you for the report. Just looking at section 18, and you've got what the 4 key priorities are in terms of how you want to use the $150 million. But this paper doesn't take us very far down the track of what the outcomes are that you're looking for. What are your expected outcomes in each of those 4 areas? Do you have some other backup information that could help us answer that question?
So, tēnā koutou rangatira mā. Carol McKenzie-Rex, I'm the Acting General Manager for Te Wakanga Mua Ki Uta. So those top 4 priorities are the marae development, the reo Māori, the kaitiakitanga water, and the Māori business and employment and tourism. So under each of those, and we haven't detailed it in the report, through the strategic work that we did through the Auckland Plan and the LTP, there's a number of interventions under each of those, those top priorities, and we can certainly share them with the councillors in the IMSB, if you would like. But what we do is a deep dive under all those strategic priorities at the quarterly meetings between the governing body and the Independent Māori Statutory Board. And the next one is coming up on Monday, and that's canvassing Māori housing and papakainga, and also effective Māori participation. And it goes right through the strategic framework, and then it showcases initiatives where we're delivering.
No, that's good. But I'm just trying to, the first question I'd be asked is, well, you're investing this money, but, and those are the priority areas that you're looking at. I just need to know, how do we measure success? What will we have achieved in terms of te reo? What would we have achieved in terms of marae development or water? And I'd like to get it to be a little bit more specific and a little bit more measurable in terms of this is the return that we get from making this investment. I'm not challenging your priorities. They seem to be sensible to me. But if you can get me something, maybe it's the presentation you'll give on Monday, but that would be helpful as I go out and I talk to Māori groups about, this is what council is looking to achieve, and within a time frame that's a recognisable one, such as the 3 years.
So through you, Mr Chair, we can certainly share the council group interventions under each of those priorities, and by June we will have performance measures under each of those as well.
Member Tapri.
Kia ora, ngā mihi nui ki a koutou I tēnei wā. So I just want to say that I think there's been good progress on addressing the PwC recommendations, so that's good. And the setup of Māori Outcomes Steering Group alongside Te Tō Takatini has been great, and the progress that's been made there is really good. And looking forward to really the December report, which picks up from what the Chairman said about the performance management framework. And again, I think what His Worship was asking was about the group budgets against, the delivery. So those aren't in this report, and I can see why those questions were asked. But I'm assuming that come December, in the next reporting, we will see that, and that will probably address those queries that have been asked today. But I think you're doing very well. Thank you.
Yes, through the chair, yes, you'll definitely see it in the December report. I think importantly, you'll also, I believe, start to see it tomorrow in the third quarter report, where the, and I accept there's been some frustration in terms of the level of expenditure earlier in this financial year. It is starting to ramp up, and I think we're in a position where we can talk about the pipeline that's coming through now.
Councillor Simpson.
Thanks, Mr Chair. Look, my question follows on from both the Mayor's and Member Taipri's, and that is, I don't know who's moving or seconding this, but in B, it's note that the final report we provided to the Finance and Performance Committee, or whatever it's going to be called, in December 19, and I wondered whether we should add detailing the outcomes against the budgeted spend, because that way you know, with the greatest respect, we're just sort of saying, but if it's resolved, then there's no doubt. You're saying you've pretty much got it anyway, but I just think it would be good governance to add that in the resolution. Mr Taipuri, would you support me on that?
I'm happy to do that, move on that way.
Okay.
But besides about what we just said.
Yep, okay, that's been noted. Yep.
Call me David anytime you like. This is the thing I thought my father would
Councillor Casey.
It's a practical question, and it kind of follows on nicely from the Mayor. At the Community Development and Safety Committee on Thursday, we are distributing 1.2 million in our Cultural Initiatives Fund to 9 Mariah across Auckland. Is that, I mean, that's absolutely key to your bullet point 2. So how is that? That's one of the outcomes, presumably, that you'll be reporting on. Yes. Because it flies under the radar at the moment. You know, we don't really, we know the good work it does, and we know the appreciation it's shown by the Mariah across Auckland, but it kind of doesn't get out there. It doesn't fly. So I'm looking for some help there.
So through you, Mr Chair, the Cultural Initiatives Fund is actually one of the many initiatives funded through the Te Tō Takatini, the Māori Outcomes budget of the LTP. And so absolutely you are correct that once we've got the measurements in place, we're in a so much better position to be able to tell the story. And, you know, at the moment, under each of those initiatives as mentioned, we will be telling the story to the joint governing body, IMSB. In fact, it will be touched on Monday with regard to the amazing support that fund is giving to the development of Papakainga and Māori housing in Tāmaki Makaurau.
All right, well, we have a mover and a seconder, so I'm going to put resolutions A and B. All those in favour? Aye. Against? Thank you. Right, we will. I will move the requisite resolution, which is in the papers. I'm not going to read it, which is for exclusion of the public under local government. No, we've done that. Sorry, consideration of extraordinary business. There is none. I'm moving the exclusion of the public under Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act